All right. Well, Udja, tonight is Friday the 13th, and this is the edition of Ancient African Adorations. I'm going to wait a few more moments to see if some more people are going to join in. I'll be right back. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and start. Tonight's edition of Ancient African Adorations is, the theme for tonight is of the temple of Abu Simbel in Aswan. And this temple is dedicated to Amun, remember exactly. But I thought tonight would be good to reflect on my recent visit there for the festival, and then just a little bit about Amun and the teachings and the principle of justice. Amun represents the witnessing consciousness. Ra represents the mind, also the creator aspect. And then Ptah is the physical manifestation of known as creation. So it's a trinity of the consciousness that existed before creation, and then the mental activity of creation, and then the creation itself. And it means the Om Amun Ra Ptah, the one divine self manifesting as a witnessing consciousness, mind, and the physical universe. And this is a Hekal that's very much chanted within the Temple of Shatau Neter, and this is a variation on the melody. And I usually don't use any instruments for this one. Om Amun Ra Ptah. Om Amun Ra Ptah. Om Amun Ra Ptah. Om Amun Ra Om Amun Rapata. 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 Om Amun Rapata, the one divine self manifesting as the witnessing consciousness, mind, and the physical universe. At this moment, I would like to share a little bit of my experience when I visited Abu Simbel for the Festival of the Sun in 2018 on October 22nd and 2020 on February 22nd. And this festival has been going on with chairs in front of the door. And illuminates the statues in the Holy of Holies. The interesting thing about this, though, is it only illuminates 3 of the statues. The light shines on the statues of Amun, Ra, and Ramses, but it does not light up the statue of Ptah because Ptah represents the physical universe. And it's quite a phenomenon. I'd say 1,000 people, maybe more, from all over arrive in busloads before dawn. And this time when I went in February, it was cold. I had on my coat and hat and gloves and scarf. And when the light shines into the doorway, of course, everybody rushes in to see the lighting of the these statues. And it's it's amazing. However, it's not very organized, I'd have to say. And when I went the first time, it was, you were almost crushed by the weight of all the people trying to get in. And the first time I went, I had my drum and my sistrum, and I was singing and chanting Om Amun Rapta as we walked through the temple. And I was expecting my instruments to be seized by the guards, but they were all like giving me thumbs up, and they were clapping, and they were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of the people were enjoying the music, but one person from Australia was really affected by it. And in fact, she hated it. And she yelled at us and told us to go back home. We were laughing because we were like, we're from here. This is our home. And at one point, she reached out and grabbed my friend's sistrum and bent it. And it was a big mess. But the guards never stopped us. And afterwards, we felt like we, did some sort of cleansing and brought out this demonic evil entity, and she was exposed. And I had a wonderful time. But when I went back in February this year, it was a completely different vibration, and there weren't as many guards inside, so they weren't there to control the crowd. And it just, things got out of hand. People were climbing and stepping over the statues that were inside the temple, and they were taking up all the time, to view the sunlight. So not everybody they weren't moving along. They were just standing there trying to video the whole thing, because I think it lasts for 22 minutes. And I definitely had a better time the first time. And for someone who, is curious about it, I definitely recommend trying it and going to have the experience. I don't know if it'd be an annual thing for me, just because of the crowds. There was not much control. But I really did feel the, the energy, the vibrations of the event, of the light, coming in at that time of year, and the precision and care that went into making sure that this happened every year on these particular 2 days. Sebai Maa told me they moved the temple and that the date of the event has actually changed. I'm not sure about all that, but just being at the temple of Abu Simbel is an experience, whether it's on these days of the year or any other day of the year. I highly recommend going to visit. So the theme for this evening's program, as I mentioned before, is justice, and how it shows up in the world, how it shows up in our lives. And I'd like to make another offering to Amun Ra. This time I'm going to clap. And these hymns are taken from the Persian Heru. Hail to Amun Ra, Amun Ra, the first king, the god of earliest times, the vizier of the poor. He doesn't take bribes from the guilty. He doesn't speak to the witness. He does not look to him who promises. Amun judges the land with his fingers. He speaks to the heart. Amun judges the guilty and assigns them to the east, and the righteous to the west. Hail Amun Ra. Dua 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 Amun Ra, Tchiya, Tchiya, Amun Ra, Tchiya, Tchiya, Amun Ra. Attempt. So I want to say a few things about that Hekau. About Amun assigns the guilty to the east and the righteous to the west. When you're facing the east, or when you're assigned to the east, that's the direction of reincarnation, meaning you'll come back and be born again, maybe as a human, maybe as another living being, living entity or creature. And if you're assigned to the west, that means you're headed in the direction of eternity or enlightenment. And so usually in our spiritual practices, we're told to face the east, the direction of the rising sun. And the sun rises again every day. It sets and rises again. But in the tradition of Chautau Nectar, the goal is to obtain enlightenment in this lifetime and not have to come back, not have to reincarnate, to live in eternity with Asar. And so what does this have to do with justice? Well, if we're living in a just way, living by Ma'at, we won't have to come back. And if we trust Ma'at and trust in the principle of justice, judging the land with his fingers, judging the guilty, it causes me to take actions to bring about accountability or to bring about healing. Justice has many facets, and it's not always the way we want it to look. But I truly, sincerely feel and believe in my heart that when we're taking the right actions, we're purifying our heart. And once our heart is purified, then we can the dead body of the child and make the child sound strong in the netherworld. Oh, Amun, oh, Amun, oh God, oh God, oh, Amun. I adore thy name. Grant that to me that I may understand thee, and that I might find peace in the duat, and that I may possess all my members therein. Hail, O moon, let me make supplications unto thee, for I know thy name, and thy transformations are in my mouth, and thy skin is before my eyes. Come, I pray thee, and place thou thine there in image, thyself in the everlasting netherworld. Let thy whole body become like that of a nectar. Let me escape from this evil chamber, and let me not be imprisoned therein, for I worship thy name. Hail, Amun. All right, that is a powerful chant. Let's talk a little bit about some of the lines. The part about let me possess all my members therein, of course, that reminds me of the myth of Asar, who his evil brother Set cut his body up into pieces. And when Aset and her team went out looking for them, they found all the pieces but one. So we are making a supplication that when our body dies and we move on to the netherworld, we have all of our pieces. And of course, that refers to more than just our body parts, but it's that we have it together. We have a good death, and we've got our mental faculties fully engaged at the time of death so that we can move into eternity. Because if we don't, we'll have to come back and go through this experience again. And the part about transformations are in my mouth and skin is before my eyes, that reminds me of Anpu. My lips are the lips of Anpu. Transformations are in my mouth, that we can make changes and bring about transformations by uttering words and chanting and saying words that are put into us by the cosmic mind of Jehuti, words that are purified with the feather of Maat. And skin before our eyes, Amun is everywhere. So everywhere that we are looking, we can see we're looking at Amun. Then the line about not be trapped in this evil chamber, that's about having our soul or our spirit trapped in our bodies at the time of death, that we're just so focused on materialism in the material world that we're not able to transcend, or even that we're trapped by our ego, that we're just frozen by our lower vibrations, our lower nature. So we're praying that we are free from that entrapment. And I wanted to read something about Amun that's relevant to what's going on today. And that's something else I wanted to talk about, is the situation with the well-being of life on planet Earth, in particular what's called the coronavirus. And this is just my own reflections on this, but if you have been following Sebai Maa, he's been talking to us about the dangers of 5G technology and what could happen to us if we're not able to stop it. And there's many people out there thinking that, myself included, that the symptoms of the virus are actually symptoms of exposure to the technology, 5G technology, and that the virus is an agent, which means it's not a living being. It's an agent that they're using to scare us into accepting vaccinations. And here at the Light Being Wellness Center, we feel that wellness is a vibration, and that yes, it's important to take care of yourself and to use natural remedies when you're out of balance, and to trust nature and all of these things to purify your space, your mind, your body, your home. Purification rituals are crucial. But the most important thing is to realize that we're energy, we're light beings, and that when we can maintain a certain vibration or frequency, we can maintain our wellness and our health. And when we connect the current virus situation with 5G technology, then it really strikes home to me the importance of the vibrations that we manifest. And then talking about justice and RU, which are impressions of our heart and our hearts based on our past experiences and our actions. Perhaps the virus, the technology, the corruption in the government and the world is our RU, because we weren't taking the right actions to maintain the vibration or frequency of balance. And even though it seems like it's too late, I feel that if we can maintain vibration, high consciousness, and I'm thinking of mental preparedness. We have preparedness to get things in place in case they do some sort of quarantine. We have to have our mind prepared for the reality of what may come and how to remain calm. So I just wanted to read a little bit about Amun and the cause of diseases. This is from Egyptian Yoga book, volume 2, Theban Theology, The Supreme Wisdom of Enlightenment and the Mysteries of Amun Religion by Muata Ashby, edited by Dr. Karen John Clark Ashby. And you have to excuse me, my glasses are being repaired, so I'm going to be squinting. So this is from chapter, I don't know what chapter this is. This is page 117. The important factor to understand here is that each element of the Trinity, that's Amun Rapata, represents a factor of absolute consciousness in the following order: soul, or witnessing consciousness, Amun; ego, mind, Ra; body and senses, Ptah. Through the understanding of this relationship, the body and sense organs, physical nature, are related to the cosmic physical self, Ptah. The mind and senses are related to the cosmic astral self, Ra. The awareness or consciousness which is beyond this astral and physical planes, the watcher who never slumbers, is related to the cosmic causal self, Amun. All of these arise out of Nebuchadnezzar, the absolute self. And here's a quote from the hymn of Amun. Amun drives away evils and scatters diseases. And then I'm just going to read a little bit. The cause of disease. The spiritual self is the source of all life, including the life of each individual human personality. It is also the spiritual self which sustains the mental and physical selves. At this level, you should understand that the spiritual self exists in the realm of nature, time and space, and also in another dimension, the spiritual realm, which is beyond time and space, movement and change. Whereas the mental and physical selves exist entirely in the realm of time and space. The body and mind, being instruments of the soul, operate according to the laws of nature. Contrary to the belief system which pervades modern-day society, that disease originates from factors outside of the body, it is the contention of yoga philosophy that the root cause of disease is ignorance of one's true nature as the self. In the unenlightened state, you identify yourself with the mind, and through the mind and senses, which are merely an extension of the mind, with the body. When this occurs, the universal self becomes diluted by the state of ignorance into believing in the concepts of death, disease, limitation, and individuality. Because death, disease, and limitation are not characteristics of the true self, conflict and contradiction develops deep within the unconscious mind, which results in disturbance of the mental functions. This distorted or inharmonious state of mind translates into a disturbance within the life force energy of the body and results in disease, because the flow of life force energy, sekhem, prana, chi, is blocked or otherwise disrupted throughout the portions of the body. The life force energy flows from the soul to the causal body, the unconscious mind, then to the astral body, which is composed of the mind and senses. Through subtle channels within the astral body, the energy flows into the physical body and vivifies the organs. The presence of this energy is what constitutes life. The absence of it is called death. So we see that disease is actually caused by ignorance of the divine. Now I've got an offering for Heru, who definitely knows about justice and is a cosmic force within us that fights our lower ego, that fights demonic forces in our presence. Is a force that stands with Ma'at, stands for Ma'at, and is destined for victory. Again, we can have an intention, we can have an idea or an ideal. Looks like the lights are going out. But we have to be mindful to not be attached to the outcome. So I have the wonderful chant from the Temple of Heru. Adorations to Lord Heru. Adorations to Lord Heru. Adorations, Son of a Star. Adorations, Son of Aset. Adorations, who stands for Maat. Adorations, who stands with Maat. Adorations, King of eternity. Adorations to Lord Heru. All right, a tap. So when we're fighting these battles and seeking justice, we just have to remember to not be attached to the outcome and to be fearless, to stay connected to our divinity and to the cosmic mind, and to defeat the lower ego, to defeat Set. I have another chant. For Heru. And the lyrics are from the teachings of the Temple of Aset. This wonderful class available at Kemet University. And there's just four phrases that really stand out for me. Kent, which is spiritual valor. Nek, spiritual strength. Ked, which is needing the Chapishepsi by rearranging one's entire life towards and around the goal of enlightenment. And Majed, insisting with confidence and patience, perseverance, standing up and staying stood up regardless. To all Heru, to all Heru, to all Heru, to all Heru. So the intention for that hekau is that if we live according to these principles in when we're standing for justice or fighting for justice, that we can be victorious. So again, Kent, spiritual valor; Nek, spiritual strength; Ked is rearranging one's entire life towards the goal of enlightenment, towards the beautiful West, towards eternity; and Majed, insisting with confidence and patience, perseverance, standing up and staying stood up regardless. And that takes us back to without attachment to the outcome. So those are my two offerings to Heru for justice, for being able to see justice in our lives and in the world around us. Because of course, we wonder, how can these entities be allowed to perform these acts, and it doesn't seem like they're being held accountable? It could be because no one is trying to hold them accountable. It could be because it's our REU as humans on the planet Earth to go through these experiences, these diversities, to bring us back to the state where we remember our divinity. So that's what I have to offer about that. Dua for being here, and I'm glad you're enjoying the music tonight. All right, so I would like to offer a chant that you've heard before for healing and for helping the child, helping us, the children of Ra, as we're going through these challenges with the health of the planet, and then also in our quest for seeing justice, or seeking justice, that the entities that are putting out the fear and the panic and the destruction, we all want justice. We want this stuff to stop, but like the reading earlier stated, that it starts within us. And like I said earlier, it's a vibration that we each have to attain. And once enough of us attain it, then the planet will vibrate at higher frequency radiation. We'll be able to fend off these toxins, whether they be viruses, 5G technology, food poisoning, the bombardment of our faculties with false information, brainwashing. We can withstand it once we get our vibration up. Keep it up, 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 up. So, got something for Sekhmet here. You are Sekhmet. You are You are Sekhmet. You are audience. You are Sekhmet. You are audience. You are Sekhmet. You are Adorations to Goddess Sekhmet, power of the life force energy. Adorations to Goddess Aset, Lady of Wisdom and healing words of power. Do for these children life, vitality, and health. Tap. So Sekhmet is the goddess of the life force energy. She is the life force energy. She is the life force energy. And she's also a warrior goddess and a healing goddess, the healer goddess. And she's a goddess who defends Ma'at, protects Ma'at, stands for Ma'at. She detests evil, and very useful cosmic force when seeking justice, standing for justice, standing with Ma'at. She can slay the unrighteous, slay the toxins, slay the demons. And if you're not careful, she'll knock you out too if she's in a bad mood. But she will remember her divinity and return to serving Ra. But yes, it's a very powerful force when seeking justice. And also we're wanting to maintain our vibration that will keep us healthy during this this major global adversity. You know, I heard from 5 different sources that you know, it could be just rumors, but when you hear from 5 different people, that the U.S. is planning to have a mandatory quarantine. So it's time to, you know, prepare physically and but also prepare mentally, like I mentioned earlier, mental preparedness, that we're able to maintain our calmness during these trying times and not be carried away by sets into the fear and lack consciousness. Like I mentioned earlier, Amun has the power to eliminate eliminate evil and scatter disease. So these are some powerful hekal to utilize. Okay. All right. I want to offer that hekal mentioned Aset. So we're kind of sliding into the segment of the program where we deal with the teachings of Aset. And I have a chant I want to offer. I'll read the translation first. So the first part is Tami Ra Arit Girta Natirt. We want to be like Ra, to become divine as a divinity, as he, by appropriating for myself. She's become disenchanted and disillusioned with, you know, her regular human life as Lady Aset, and she's looking for a higher path. In the spiritual, mystical sense, you become one with Ra. And then the next line is Ka Setem Ab Set, reflecting she in her heart. Let me see, I had it. Sure, let me see. Book here is The Mysteries of Ra and Isis, Ra and Aset, by Dr. Muata Ashby, and he's in his interpretation of the translation. So in the Temple of Aset class, we're going through, here we go. Aset thought deeply about the issue, concentration, then more deeply, now going into the depths of her own heart meditation, and concluded it should be possible to accomplish this lofty goal by becoming wise as to the name, the divine name of Ra, the exalted name, the saintly, virtuous, spiritual name of Ra. So this is about how to experience yourself beyond personality. And then I already translated the third part is Erek Ren Neter Shepsi. So it's Tami Ra Arigirta, Ka Setem Abset, Erek Ren Neter Shepsi. I'm typing the lyrics in case you want to sing along. Upset. I like to do this little feathery thing with my voice because we want our hearts to be light as a feather. So maybe you'll notice it. And this, when it's In this recorded version, I'll have an acoustic version and then a like rock and reggae version. Tommy Ron, Arigata Te, Tommy Ron, Arigata, Tommy Ron, Arigata Te. Set him up, said God, 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 set him up, said Erekren Teshepsi, Erekren Teshepsi, Erekren Teshepsi, Erekren Teshepsi. God, set him up, said 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 Tommy Ron, Arigata, Tommy Ron, Arigata Te, Tommy Ron, Arigata, Tommy Ron, Arigata Te. God, set him up, said 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 Erekren Teshepsi, Erekren Teshepsi, Erekren Teshepsi, Erekren Teshepsi. God, set him up, said God, set him up, said God, set him up, said God, set him up, said. And tap. Yes, so another amazing tool for achieving justice or seeking justice, manifesting justice is, by going deep into one's heart and concentrating on justice and meditating on justice, on what that means to you, what that would look like, as a meditation, but being open to, how it actually presents itself. And, all of these teachings are leading us to Maat, of course, which is coming soon. Yeah, but, seeking to know the name of Ra, seeking to know justice, seeking to be one with Ra, seeking a higher path, choosing the higher road to justice, not about revenge or vengeance, but about taking Ma'at actions to raise the vibration, raise your frequency, to radiate a pure light, to lighten your heart, so that your light is shining bright and pure, and then that can help bring about justice in the world. Okay. Another song from the Temple of Aset that I'd like to bring back is how to, no matter what's going on, to remain in the stillness. So when we're seeking justice or waiting for justice to be served, or when we're in the battle, we're battling our lower nature, battling our fears, conquering thoughts that want to distract us from our path towards justice, towards enlightenment. How to remain in the stillness no matter what's going on. And that when you know Nebuchadnezzar, you know everything, and that includes justice. When we're able to remain in the stillness, we'll be able to see justice. And if we get caught up in our fears and doubts, anxieties, traumas, triggers, our ego, we won't be able to see justice. Because it is. I have an offering for Maat. This is also another song that I did have to make sure that our heart is purified, and we purified our RU, that we're not coming from, a position of ego. And so we want to make sure our heart is light as a feather, and that we're able to distinguish. We're going to take it to the Chicago School of Guitar Making to see if they can, stabilize it or enforce it, so that I'm able to tune it properly. The first harp that I had from Uganda, I was tuning it, but I could tell that something wasn't quite right. And I thought if I just play it one more time, then I'll take it to get fixed. But sure enough, when I was tuning it, it shattered, and I don't want that to happen. So I've got it packed away in this lovely little bag. I'm going to be taking it to the School of Guitar Making, hopefully on Monday, and he said he'd see what he could do. So for this version of the song, I'm not sure how I play it on this one. I tried it earlier. Keep my heart as light as a feather. You are my keep my heart as light as a feather. You are my keep my heart as light as a feather. You are mine. Keep my heart as light as a feather. You are mine. To know the difference between the real and unreal. You are untrue. Know the difference between the real and unreal. You are untrue. Know the difference between the real and unreal. You are untrue. Know the difference between real and unreal. You are untrue. Keep my heart as light as a feather. To cool my heart. Keep my heart as light as a feather. To cool my heart. Keep my heart as light as a feather. To cool my heart. Keep my heart as light as a feather. To cool my heart. To know the difference between the real and unreal. To cool and cool. Know the difference between the real and unreal. The poo and poo. Know the difference between the real and unreal. The poo and poo. Know the difference between the real and unreal. The poo and poo. You are mine. You are unpoo. The poo mine. The poo and poo. The tap. Yes, so those are two aspects or two cosmic forces that are crucial when seeking justice, standing for justice, striving for justice, fighting for justice, working for justice, manifesting justice, vibrating justice. You have to have your heart as light as a feather. Are you purified? And be able to know the difference between the real and the unreal. For example, like, what is justice? As I've mentioned many times before, and I have a video called Scales of Maat. Justice is not like this is right and this is wrong. This is just, this is not just. We really don't know what justice will look like. We know how it'll feel. We'll feel it, but we can't really know ahead of time what it'll look like or how it's going to look. But when it happens, we'll feel it. And so if our ego is blocking the view, we're not going to see it, know it, or feel it. So it's a good reminder to me as I'm taking steps towards seeking justice myself personally. And globally, as we're facing this crisis / pandemonium / fear driving towards financial benefit for a select few, which from our perspective, it doesn't look like justice. And it certainly doesn't feel like it. All right, so I have one more tune for you tonight. For joining, for your comments. And I had one more reading I forgot to do. This one is for Heru. I'm going to have to, like I said, my glasses are being repaired or replaced, so I'm squinting a little bit. This is from Book of Coming Forth by Sebai Maa. It's not, he didn't write the Book of Coming Forth by Day. This is his compilation of some of the passages and translation and his wonderful commentary in the gloss. So this is from chapter 10, The Four Flames Made for the Coup. And it's a picture of four men holding torches as they approach the deceased, the mummy, Sekhmet and Maat. So the fire comes to your ka, O Asar. And when you're reading the Purna Maru, when it says Asar, you can say your name because you are Asar. You're the soul going through all these experiences. But I'll just leave it blank and you can say your name or just think your name. The fire comes to your ka, O Asar. Behold, the flame rises in Abdu, and it comes to the eye of Heru. It is set correctly in your brow, O Asar, ruler of Amentet. It is fixed on your shrine, and it rises onto your brow. It is set on your breast, O Asar, and it's set on your brow. The eye of Heru is protecting you. All your enemies fall before you. The eye of Heru is whole and powerful. It sends out rays like Ra. It puts down the threefold might of Set. The four flames enter into your ka, O Asar. The four flames enter into your ka. The eye of Heru has avenged his father, Asar, and protected him. This chapter should not be read, and the ritual associated with it should not be performed for anyone, even your father or son or mother or daughter, except for yourself alone. This is a great mystical teaching of the netherworld. If this ritual is performed for someone each day, their spirit will go forth from every hall in the Duat and from the 7 Arits of Asar, God. There will be no obstruction of any kind for such a spirit, and there will be no negative verdict, but the words are weighed. The person's mouth should be opened with the traditional metal instrument, and take care to record these words exactly as you found them, for these are great mysteries of the netherworld. This chapter is to be recited over 4 flames and in the rays of Ra. Doing this will provide power for the coup to be among the never-setting stars. If this chapter is recited, the coup will never, never falter, and that person shall be a living soul forever, and the coup will be as vigorous as that of a star. And behold, these things shall be performed by one who is clean and pure, a person who has eaten neither meat nor fish, and who has not had sexual intercourse. Every coup for whom this is read and performed will go forth unobstructed as a follower of a star continually. This is a reading from chapter 10 from the Pertinent Heru, the book of Coming Forth by Day, also known as the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So when reading passages from the Pertinent Heru, of course, it's excellent to read them when someone we know or loved one or the loved one of someone we know and love is making their transition, or even after they've made their transition. And it's also crucial for us to read passages from the Pertinent Heru for our own benefit every day or as often as we can as we make our journey towards the netherworld, towards our enlightenment, towards the beautiful west or towards the north, the direction of the never-setting stars. So I wanted to offer that because it's, about Heru and being victorious in this conquest. And so the last chant for this offering is just one that came through specifically for this session, this transmission. And I'm sure it won't be exactly the way it was this morning, but see what comes through now. I'll write out the lyrics. Oops. It's just in honor of the deities that I was focusing on tonight. Om Heru. Om Maat. Om Amun. Om Sekhmet. 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 Om Heru. All right, a tap. Well, this is the conclusion of tonight's presentation of Ancient African Adorations. Tonight we focused on the principle of justice, and the deities honored were Amun, Maat, Sekhmet, and Heru. And I hope you've enjoyed this transmission, this presentation. And we'll be back every second and fourth Friday. So the next fourth Friday is March 27th. So we're back here March 27th at 8 p.m. Central with another rendition of Ancient African Adorations. Dua. And I want to thank you for being here with me tonight. I see I have Asar Ma'at Lewis and Oba El, also known as Uab Setna. And I really appreciate you being here with me tonight. And for those of you joining me in the replays, please let me know how this resonated with you. And if you haven't already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, follow me on several different platforms, sending out these vibrations to help raise the frequency of the planet and bring about wellness, purification, and awareness, higher consciousness, with the goal of everyone being able to attain enlightenment in their own way. With the teachings from the Temple of Shatanet or Temple of Aset, Dua Sebai Maa, Dua Sebai Jah, and to all the members and guides and friends. So again, I'll be here March 27th, 8 p.m. Central on the YouTube live stream for the next edition of Ancient African Adorations. Dua Hatap. And also, I forgot to mention, if you've enjoyed this presentation of this series, you are more than welcome to leave an offering or donation or contribution for the continuation of this project at paypal.me/Tchiya Amet or Cash App $Maat Amet El Maat. And those links will be available in the description of this video down below. Hatap.